Forest lights or desert roads, Nevada's test is tough. Hit like, smash subscribe, and let's go.
Question 1. You may legally drive a commercial motor vehicle in Nevada with a suspended non-commercial license as long as your CDL is valid. True or false? False. Your CDL depends on the status of your base license. If your regular license is suspended, your CDL is automatically invalid. Question 2. In Nevada, a CDL is required to operate a vehicle designed to transport 16 or more passengers, including the driver. True or false? True. This rule aligns with FMCSA standards and includes vans, shuttle buses, and certain school buses. Question 3. The tractor protection valve closes automatically if the air pressure drops below a certain level. True or false? True. It is designed to protect the tractor's air system by sealing off the trailer air supply when pressure falls dangerously low. Question 4. Hazardous materials placards are only required when the vehicle is in motion. True or false? False. Placards must be displayed at all times, whether the vehicle is parked or moving, to alert emergency responders. Question 5. The minimum tread depth for front tires on a commercial vehicle is 2/32 of an inch. True or false? False. Steering axle tires must have at least 4/32 of an inch. 2/32 applies only to other tires. Question 6. In Nevada, all CDL applicants must self-certify the type of driving they intend to do. True or false? True. This determines whether the applicant must also submit a current DOT medical card. Question 7. Pumping the brakes is the correct method for stopping a vehicle equipped with ABS. True or false? False. ABS works most effectively when you apply firm, steady pressure. Pumping the brakes can interfere with the system. Question 8. The emergency air line controls the trailer service brakes during normal operations. True or false? False. The emergency line supplies air and applies spring brakes in emergencies. Service brakes are controlled by the service line. Question 9. School bus drivers in Nevada must pass additional knowledge and skills tests beyond the standard CDL requirements. True or false? True. A school bus S endorsement requires passing a specialized written exam and a driving skills test using a school bus. Question 10. You must report all out-of-state traffic convictions to the Nevada DMV within 30 days. True or false? True. CDL holders are required by federal and state law to report any out-of-state moving violations within 30 days. Question 11. An air brake system can function properly even if the air compressor governor fails. True or false? False. Without a functioning governor, the system cannot regulate pressure correctly and becomes unsafe for operation. Question 12. Nevada allows you to use a rental vehicle for your CDL road test. True or false? True. As long as the rental vehicle meets the testing requirements and is legally registered and insured, it is allowed. Question 13. If a converter dolly lacks its own braking system, it can still be used legally in triple trailer combinations. True or false? False. Each unit in a multi-trailer setup must have an operational brake system compliant with safety regulations. Question 14. The air leakage rate in a combination vehicle should not exceed 3 psi in 1 minute with brakes released. True or false? True. This is the FMCSA limit for combination vehicles during the static leakage test. Question 15. A driver transporting hazardous materials must always carry emergency response information within reach while driving. True or false? True. This ensures immediate access for first responders in case of an incident or inspection. Question 16. When coupling, the trailer kingpin should sit just above the fifth wheel. True or false? False. The trailer should be slightly lower than the fifth wheel to allow the tractor to lift it during coupling. Question 17. You are not required to stop at a railroad crossing if you are transporting explosives and the gates are up. True or false? False. Drivers carrying explosives must stop within 15 to 50 feet of all railroad crossings, regardless of signals. Question 18. Overhead clearance signs must always be obeyed, even if the load appears to fit. True or false? True. Road conditions can raise or lower vehicle height, so posted clearances must always be taken seriously. Question 19. If a tire appears to be inflated, you do not need to use a gauge to check pressure. True or false? False. Visual inspections are unreliable. Only a tire pressure gauge can confirm inflation meets required levels. Question 20. A tank endorsement is required to haul individual containers of 119 gallons or more, even if they're empty. True or false? True. Tank endorsements are needed if the aggregate volume exceeds 1,000 gallons or any single container is over 119 gallons. Question 21. ABS improves stopping distance under all conditions. True or false? False. ABS prevents wheel lockup but does not guarantee shorter stopping distances, especially on slick surfaces. Question 22. Nevada CDL holders must be at least 21 years old to drive across state lines or transport hazardous materials. True or false? True. Interstate operation and hazmat transport require a minimum age of 21 per federal rules. Question 23. The trailer hand valve should be used for parking the trailer. True or false? False. It is only for testing trailer brakes. Using it for parking could result in unintended brake release. Question 24. Downshifting is recommended before entering a curve or steep downgrade. True or false? True. Proper downshifting maintains control and prevents overuse of brakes on declines. Question 25. Nevada prohibits the use of engine retarders, Jake brakes, in certain areas. True or false? True. Local ordinances may restrict engine brake use in residential or downtown zones. Watch for posted signs. Question 26. It is acceptable to leave your vehicle unattended while idling with the parking brake released. True or false? False. Leaving a CMV unattended without setting the parking brakes violates safety procedures and is illegal under FMCSA and Nevada law. Question 27. Slack adjusters should be inspected only when the brakes are released. True or false? False. Slack adjusters should be inspected both when brakes are applied and released to check for proper travel and adjustment. Question 28. Nevada's CDL skills test includes a basic control skills exam that may involve backing into a dock. True or false? True. The test may include straight-line backing, offset backing, or alley dock maneuvers to assess vehicle control. Question 29. Air tanks in an air brake system must be drained daily to remove moisture and oil. True or false? True. Failure to drain can result in brake system failure due to freezing or contamination. Question 30. Using the trailer hand valve while driving is a safe way to control trailer sway. True or false? False. It can lead to trailer skid or jackknife. Service brakes should be used instead. Question 31. You must stop at all highway rail grade crossings in a CMV, regardless of cargo, if not exempted. True or false? False. CMVs must stop only when carrying placarded hazardous materials, passengers, or when posted signs require it. Question 32. If the low air pressure warning signal does not activate before pressure drops below 55 psi, the vehicle is safe to operate. True or false? False. The warning must activate between 55 to 75 psi. Failure to warn at this range is a critical safety defect. Question 33. Doubles and triples are more prone to rollover than other commercial combinations. True or false? True. The rear trailer in a multi-trailer setup is the most likely to overturn due to off-tracking and crack the whip effects. Question 34. A CDL is required to operate any vehicle with a gross combined weight rating GCWR of 10,001 pounds or more. True or false? False. CDL requirements begin at 26,001 pounds GCWR unless transporting hazardous materials or passengers. Question 35. You may use wheel chocks in place of the parking brake on a downgrade. True or false? False. Wheel chocks are supplemental and do not replace the requirement to set the parking brake. Question 36. The air compressor governor controls when the air compressor pumps air into the system. True or false? True. It cuts in and out at preset PSI levels, typically 100 to 125 PSI, to maintain proper air pressure. Question 37. When coupling, it's acceptable to assume the trailer is properly locked if the jaws appear closed. True or false? False. You must visually inspect that the jaws are securely around the shank and test with a tug before driving. Question 38. In Nevada, commercial drivers must carry proof of citizenship or lawful permanent residency when applying for a CDL. True or false? True. This is required to comply with federal identity verification standards for commercial drivers. Question 39. The cargo securement rules only apply to flatbed trucks. True or false? False. Securement standards apply to all CMVs transporting cargo, including dry vans and enclosed trailers. Question 40. Brake drums should be free of cracks longer than half the width of the friction area. True or false? True. Cracks beyond this limit are cause for immediate brake repair or disqualification. Question 41. Nevada allows automatic transmission CMVs to be used for the skills test without restriction. True or false? False. If you take the test in an automatic, your CDL will include a restriction prohibiting manual transmission operation. Question 42. A driver may haul hazardous materials without a hazmat endorsement if the cargo is under 100 pounds. True or false? False. The need for an endorsement depends on the material's classification and whether it requires placarding, not the weight alone. Question 43. To prevent hydroplaning in a CMV, you should reduce speed and avoid hard braking in wet conditions. True or false? True. Lower speeds and gentle braking reduce the risk of tire lift and loss of control on wet pavement. Question 44. You must wear a seat belt only if you are operating a CMV over 26,001 pounds. True or false? False. Seatbelt use is mandatory for all CMV operators, regardless of weight. Question 45. Surge is a major concern when hauling liquid in tanks. True or false? True. Forward and backward surge can affect stopping distance, handling, and increase rollover risk. Question 46. Any detectable alcohol concentration while operating a CMV will result in being placed out of service. True or false? True. Even a BAC as low as 0.02% requires the driver to be removed from service for at least 24 hours. Question 47. During the pre-trip, it is not necessary to check that the air tank drain valves are functioning. True or false? False. Proper operation of air tank drains is critical for removing accumulated water and oil. Question 48. Brake fade can be caused by excessive use of brakes on long downgrades. True or false? True. Overheating from frequent brake application reduces effectiveness and can lead to total failure. Question 49. In Nevada, a driver may be disqualified for life from holding a CDL after a second DUI conviction. True or false? True. A second offense for driving under the influence results in permanent disqualification from CDL privileges. Question 50. Tires with fabric showing through the tread are legal as long as you're under the speed limit. True or false? False. Exposed fabric or cord in a tire is grounds for an out-of-service violation and is unsafe under any condition.
Another step closer to passing. Stay on a roll with more practice or download the cheat sheet and lock it all in.